On the final night of December 2004, members of one family were murdered inside their Tokyo home. The killer was injured during the attack and left behind blood, fingerprints, clothing, and personal belongings. Evidence that should have made identification almost inevitable, but instead of escaping immediately, investigators believe he remained inside, used the family's computer, consumed food, and moved through the rooms after the family was dead. How could someone leave an apparent mountain of evidence and still disappear completely? Before this investigation ends, we will examine the clue hidden in the killer's possessions, the disputed timeline of his departure, and the forensic evidence that may still reveal his identity. The Miyazawa family lived in Kami-Soshigaya, a residential section of Tokyo's Setagaya ward. Their house stood beside the expanding Soshigaya Park, near the Senkawa River and university baseball grounds. By December 2000, redevelopment had left only a small number of occupied houses in the immediate area. That isolation may have mattered. The victims were 44-year-old Mikio Miyazawa, his 41-year-old wife, Yasuko, their 8-year-old daughter Niina, and their 6-year-old son, Rei. The family lived near Yasuko's relatives, who occupied an adjoining property. It was a familiar neighborhood surrounded by a park that attracted families, cyclists, and young people. Nothing about the evening initially suggested that the house would become the center of one of Japan's most extensive murder investigations. According to Tokyo police, the offense occurred sometime from around 11 o'clock at night on Saturday the 30th of December until dawn on Sunday, the 31st of December 2000. That official window is unusually broad because the killer's actions may have continued long after the murders themselves. The final hours of the 20th century were beginning. Inside the Miyazawa home, they would end in violence. Investigators attempted to reconstruct the family's final movements through telephone calls, witness accounts, receipts, and activity around the neighborhood. Mikio was known to work in business and computer-related fields. Yasuko operated an educational service. Their children were spending the holiday period at home. The family's routine appeared ordinary, but the location offered several possible approaches. The park bordered the property. A fence and nearby structures may have allowed an intruder to approach without using the front entrance. Police would later examine whether the killer entered through an upstairs bathroom window, although the precise method of entry has remained part of the investigation rather than a conclusively established public fact. What is clear is that the offender entered a home containing 2 adults and 2 young children and did so without being stopped outside. Police concluded that one offender was most likely responsible. Investigators found blood belonging to the killer, but only one unknown blood profile and one set of footwear impressions associated with the intruder. Rei was strangled. Mikio, Yasuko, and Niina suffered fatal knife injuries. Evidence indicated that Mikio and Yasuko fought back fiercely. During the attack, the killer apparently injured his own hand, leaving type A blood in several areas of the house. A weapon brought into the home was damaged during the violence. Investigators believe another knife from inside the house may then have been used. This was not a controlled scene. It was chaotic, prolonged, and physically demanding. Yet what happened afterward was even more difficult to explain. Most offenders flee after an attack, especially when they have been injured. This killer apparently did the opposite. He remained. Evidence suggested that the offender spent a significant period inside the house after the family had been killed. He apparently treated his injury using materials found in the home. Food was consumed, the family computer was accessed, documents were removed from drawers, cut apart or placed in the bathroom. The toilet was used. Some money may have been taken, yet valuables and additional cash reportedly remained. These actions did not resemble a person focused only on escaping. They suggested comfort, confusion, searching, or an extraordinary lack of fear. The computer activity became one of the most debated parts of the timeline. Investigators examined connection records to determine when the machine had been used. Some activity may have occurred during the night. Another computer connection recorded later in the morning raised a disturbing possibility. The killer might still have been inside shortly before the family was discovered. However, authorities also had to consider whether a mouse movement, technical process, or another accidental action could have activated the computer. The exact departure time has therefore remained uncertain. That uncertainty changes everything. Did the killer leave under cover of darkness, or did he remain until morning surrounded by neighbors beginning their day? On the morning of the 31st of December, Yasuko's mother became concerned when she could not reach the family. She lived nearby and entered the home. Inside, she discovered the victims. Police arrived at a scene containing an extraordinary amount of physical evidence. There were clear fingerprints. There was blood believed to belong to the killer. There were shoe impressions. There were weapons and household objects. And there was an entire collection of clothing and personal possessions apparently abandoned by the offender. At first, the volume of material inspired confidence. An offender who left this much behind should be traceable. His fingerprints could be compared. His DNA could be examined. His clothing could be linked to shops and manufacturers. His shoes could be identified. Investigators seemed to possess almost everything except a name. Among the most recognizable items was a gray sweatshirt with purple sections around the sleeves and neck. Police also recovered or publicized a hat, scarf, gloves, a hip bag, and footwear believed to be associated with the offender. Investigators traced manufacturing and sales information, hoping that the clothing's limited distribution would identify the buyer. But clothing can be borrowed, purchased second-hand, discarded, exchanged, or given away. Even a rare item may pass through several hands before reaching a crime scene. The hip bag contained additional microscopic evidence. Investigators examined traces of sand, plant material, and fluorescent substances found on the suspect's belongings and footwear. Such particles can reveal where an object has traveled, but they do not always point to one person. A bag may have been used for years. Shoes cross hundreds of surfaces. Footprints at the house were linked to athletic shoes believed to have been manufactured or distributed through markets outside Japan as well as domestically. That detail encouraged speculation that the offender had traveled abroad, lived near a military community, or obtained imported clothing. But possession of foreign-made shoes does not prove nationality. 2 handkerchiefs were also examined because of the unusual way one appeared to have been wrapped around a knife. The method may have reflected habit, training, cultural familiarity, or simply an improvised attempt to improve grip. Each clue appeared distinctive. Together they should have formed a portrait. Instead, they produced several conflicting portraits of the same unknown man. The offender's injury gave investigators one of their strongest advantages: biological evidence believed to belong directly to the killer. The DNA has been analyzed repeatedly as forensic technology has advanced. Ancestry estimates do not identify citizenship, language, or personal identity. They describe statistical similarities within reference populations and must be interpreted cautiously. More recent reporting stated that enhanced analysis suggested the offender may have been in his 30s at the time of the crime, older than some earlier estimates based largely on clothing size and appearance. However, Tokyo police have not publicly announced the identification of a suspect. Japan's legal and privacy framework has historically limited the type of investigative genetic genealogy used in some foreign cold cases. That leaves investigators with a complete but unmatched profile. The killer's DNA may exist in a laboratory. His identity does not yet exist beside it. The fingerprints created another expectation of a rapid arrest. Some were reportedly clear and stained with blood. Yet database comparison depends on a basic condition. The person's prints must already exist in a searchable system. If the offender had never been fingerprinted for immigration, employment, or criminal reasons, the prints could remain unmatched indefinitely. This is the paradox of the Setagaya case. The police may possess the killer's exact fingerprints, but a perfect print cannot speak its owner's name. The official case title describes a robbery and quadruple murder. Money appears to have been disturbed or taken, but the offender also left valuables behind. That inconsistency has generated several theories. The killer may have entered intending to steal and attacked when confronted. He may have targeted the family for a reason investigators never discovered. He may have entered impulsively from the neighboring park. Or the searching and document destruction may have been staged to conceal another motive. No conclusive evidence has confirmed any single explanation. A plausible story is not automatically the correct one. In a case containing this much physical evidence, motive remains one of the least certain elements. The park offered several routes away from the house. A person leaving before dawn might have crossed quiet paths without attracting attention. But the killer had injured his hand, and that injury may have been serious enough to require treatment. Police appealed for information about anyone who appeared with an unexplained hand wound, suddenly moved away or disappeared after the crime. More than 25 years later, that appeal remains active. Hundreds of thousands of police work assignments have reportedly been connected to the investigation over the years, alongside thousands of tips from the public. Detectives have traced clothing, footwear, particles, DNA, fingerprints, and witness information. Tokyo police continue to maintain an official appeal containing scene maps, images, and details about the suspect's possessions. The combined public and private reward currently reaches up to 20 million Japanese yen for information leading to a resolution. Every year without an arrest creates new difficulties. Witnesses grow older, memories weaken, records disappear, objects change ownership. But technology also improves. A sample that revealed little in 2001 may disclose more today. The evidence has not vanished. It is waiting for the right comparison. The Setagaya case is often described as a mystery built from too many clues. The killer left blood, fingerprints, footwear impressions, clothing, and personal items. He used objects inside the house. He may have remained there for hours, yet none of those clues has publicly produced his name. Evidence does not solve a crime by existing. It solves a crime only when it can be connected to a person. Without that final connection, even a house filled with evidence can remain completely silent. The confirmed facts remain devastating. Mikio Miyazawa, Yasuko Miyazawa, and their children, Niina and Rei, were killed inside their home during the night of the 30th of December 2000. Investigators believe one male offender was responsible. He was injured and left biological evidence, fingerprints, footwear impressions, clothing, and other possessions behind. Evidence also indicates that he remained in the house after the murders, moving through the family's private space as the night continued. The case remains unresolved and no person has been publicly identified as the killer. What do you believe really happened? Did the killer enter the house intending to rob the family, or was the robbery staged to conceal a personal motive? Why would an injured offender remain inside for so long instead of escaping immediately? And which clue do you believe will finally expose him? The DNA, the fingerprints, the clothing, or a witness who has remained silent for over 2 decades? Please discuss the victims respectfully and separate confirmed facts from speculation. If you found this investigation valuable, subscribe to Mysterious Crime, like this video, share it with someone who loves documentaries, and turn on notifications so you never miss our next investigation. Every mystery has a story,